Right, so we have another Blu-ray review for you now. We did another one recently, but today it is the turn of Arrow's new Blu-ray of American Werewolf in London.
Yep.
Great film, which you have, and I have too.
Yes, we love it so much.
Mine's still in plastic, so we'll do your one.
Okay.
Because mine will reflect on the light, and yours won't. And you can
That's
go
true.
into your one.
I can.
So I'm just going to chuck this away. Somewhere, like that. Yeah.
Cool.
Go for it.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously, if you don't know the film, well, where have you been? But it's directed by John Landis, probably one of the best werewolf movies ever, probably.
I'm sure a lot of people would disagree, but it's one of
there's
it's
loads.
up there. It's up there with the greats,
Yeah.
isn't it? You know,
I mean, The Howling's pretty good, and obviously you've got the original Universal Monsters ones, and things like Ginger Snaps, and there's loads of werewolf movies to pick from. But I think this is definitely
defining,
up there.
one of the defining.
Exactly, and particularly for the effects.
But I mean, it's the classic. It's the classic werewolf story, isn't it? You know, girl falls in love with man, man becomes werewolf. I mean, it's the classic.
Werewolf eats people.
That was the non-spoiler version.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I mean, it's quotable, and it's got loads of iconic scenes in it, and it's kind of a comedy as well. You know, it's not out and out horror, although it is particularly gory and gruesome in parts, thanks to the effects by Rick Baker. Possibly one of the best werewolf transformations put on film, I think. I mean, these days, they do it with CGI a lot of the time, and it just doesn't.
I mean, that is just. I mean, it's something else, isn't it? I mean,
it is. Yeah.
You know, we're not going to. We won't, because it's a Blu-ray. We try and talk about the disc, but how can we not talk about that scene because it's such a.
It is. Yeah, it's absolutely iconic. Yeah. I mean, Michael Jackson was a big fan of it.
Yes.
If you've ever watched the Thriller video, if not, go and watch it. I'm sure it's on YouTube. Off the back of American Werewolf in London, he wanted John Landis to direct the video, and he wanted Rick Baker to do the effects. And again, the transformation. Well, it's not quite on a par with American Werewolf. Obviously, it's just a music video, and it's they can't have a 5-minute transformation scene. It's still great, and the end result is, I think, it's one of my favourite looking sort of werewolf men. But obviously, in this, he turns into a like a wolf almost. Whereas in the Thriller video, he's still like a man with a wolf's head kind of, and I just love the look of it. So it's a new Arrow release, and obviously you can get it just the disc like this, but as they do with some of their releases, they stick it in a card box with some other bits and bobs as well as a limited edition. As usual, you get the booklet with loads of writing on it and photos and stuff. The poster, which has got the new artwork on it, and the original theatrical poster as well. But obviously the main draw is the disc. It's been restored, a new scan of the negative in 4K. So it's the best it's ever looked. I mean, it's been released on Blu-ray a couple of times. I think there was a release about 10 years ago, which didn't look great, to be honest. I think Universal released it. I think it was 2016. and they, it was touted as like a restored edition. And while it looked better, it still wasn't perfect, and I think they'd done some some digital sharpening on it and stuff like that to sort of make it look a bit cleaner. But that kind of that hides details where when they do that, when they apply that sort of technology too much, while it looks sharper, you still lose stuff due to that process. So that's that version is now superseded by this one. This is far better, and also it's got loads of extras on it. You've got all the old stuff that was on the old disc, so lots of archival interviews and things like that, behind the scenes stuff. But it's also got loads of new stuff. So you've got a new interview with John Landis. You've got quite a long feature about Universal Monsters and the original Wolfman movies, and they talk about Lon Chaney Jr. and all that stuff, and the history of it, and basically how a lot of the lore around werewolves, like the silver bullets and things like that, all wasn't actually folklore. A lot of it was actually created for the films. There is a little bit of repetition. There's I think at least across three different features, I heard the same story about how John Landis came up with the idea. His inspiration for it was basically he was filming. He was on the crew for Kelly's Heroes, and they were filming in Yugoslavia, and he witnessed a gypsy funeral, and they were burying this guy feet first,
right?
And he was wrapped in garlic and things like that, and he learned the reasons why they were doing it like that, and that kind of inspired him to write the script. That story is repeated by him a couple of times, by other people in various features. I mean, how much can you say? about if you're gonna have more than one interview with the same person on it, you're bound to have a bit of crossover. Yeah, so if you like the film, it is the definitive release. I mean, it's released in the UK and the US. So,
And as always, it's got has some really great artwork that you slap on the front, and of course it's got the original artwork that you can swap over and use that one if you desire. Obviously, if you have the box, then you just get the nice new cover. But it's cool. We've got we got the guy from what's his name? He's in Bottom and Alien 3.
Bruce Glover. Is that his name?
No.
Brian Glover.
Brian Glover.
Brian Glover, that's it.
Yeah, my mum worked with him.
Did he?
Yeah, she worked with Amazing.
Cool.
She worked. She did a play when she was stage manager in the like 60s, and she worked with him.
Was he really gruff as all the characters he plays? I bet he wasn't. It was a pussycat.
No, I think he was really nice. But he plays that quite a hard man in Alien 3. And of course he's in, like I said, he's in Bottom, and of course Rick Mayall is in the same scene in this, so they may have become friendly.
Who knows?
But
yeah, very young Rick Mayall in this.
Very young Rick Mayall, playing chess, aren't they? And the pub. I mean, that's what's great about this film is like every scene is just so memorable, and when they're out on the moors and all the dream sequences. It's a really great film, and I might watch it tonight. Although it's quite late now, so I'm looking forward to checking it out again because it's just an amazing classic film.
It is
that we both love, but probably really it was nice to talk about it briefly because it's such a famous film. We don't tend to do famous films.
As we talked about Thriller earlier, that was how I was first introduced to it because I had the Thriller video on VHS, and after it had like a behind the scenes thing, and it showed clips from American Werewolf and talked about how Michael Jackson loved that film and how he wanted to work with John Landis on the video, and I think the clip was from one of the clips was from the Piccadilly Circus scene. So people flying out of buses and things like that. I was like, my young age. Although I think the Thriller video was 15, so I don't know how old I was when I watched it. I was definitely younger than 15. I was like, what is this movie? I must see it at some point.
Yeah, I don't remember when I first came across American Werewolf. I seem to have memories of seeing either pictures or maybe footage. I don't know where I would have seen it of the transformation. And just thinking, ooh, what is that? And then again, seeing. I mean, because I remember seeing the Thriller when I was at primary school back in the 80s. They had a big barbecue, summer barbecue, out at someone's big house somewhere, and there was a big tent. And in that tent, they were showing something, but we weren't allowed to go because we were too young. So we snuck in to watch it, and they were playing the Thriller video on the screen. And everyone was like, I was like almost traumatized by this thing. But it was so amazing. And my brother then was a huge Michael Jackson fan anyway. But I think I'd seen imagery of American Werewolf. And again, because, this is before the internet. So you couldn't track these things down. And I remember getting it for the first time and just being blown out the water by the transformation sequence. Because unfortunately it does suffer from, we won't talk about it too much, but it suffers from when he becomes the wolf. I never liked, there's that scene in Piccadilly when the wolf kind of rolls across the screen and you're like, huh?
It's not entirely convincing.
Not entirely. Whereas in Howling, when they become the wolves,
well, they are like
they're like actual, a bit like dog soldiers.
Yeah, they walk on two legs.
Yeah, and I always kind of wanted that combination of the great transformation scene with maybe some meatier-looking werewolves. But it is what it is, and it's still it's a comedy. But that scene in the underground when when it appears when you're looking down the escalator shaft and you just catch a glimpse of it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. And every time you go on the underground, you just think of that film. If you ever late at night,
well, I mean, these days it's too far. It's far
too
too busy
full up. But
occasionally,
that odd time, maybe you've been to a gig or something, you come back late at night and you're on the underground by yourself, and you're like,
and you hear a howl of a wolf.
You hear oh, exactly, yeah. So, indeed, enough of my howling for one night.
Indeed. No, don't do that anymore.
I put the actual howl from the film over there and get into all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, get copyright strike.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I'm going off track here, as they did, and then got attacked by a wolf.
Yeah, exactly. Beware the moon.
Exactly.
And stay off the moors.
Yeah.
Sound advice there from some Yorkshire gentlemen.
Exactly. So that was the Arrow release of An American Werewolf in London, and if you enjoyed the video, let us know in the comments below.
Yep, hit the subscribe button up there, and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. There's some other videos to check out over there. And come and find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And join us next week for another one.